Before we purchased the Oxford materials, we had a combination of, in my instruction, I used Harcourt, which is the district basal reading series that they use, and they had an ELL component, along with teachers pulled things from where we could find them. It's just kind of our own curriculum that we made up.
The reason I switched to using Oxford is because it front loads the students on the vocabulary we will be seeing in our science textbook or our social studies textbook, which is sometimes at a higher level reading for the ELL student. And so this was a good way for them to get front loaded with that vocabulary that they will be seeing.
The reason to switch to the Oxford materials was for the fact that the teachers were just coming up with things on their own, and we wanted a unified curriculum for the ESL and bilingual department throughout the district.
My lessons are built around the Oxford curriculum. I use them as the focus of the lesson, and then I incorporate the eye tools when introducing the vocabulary.
Well, when I use the Let's Go materials, they are the core curriculum for our students. That's what all of our lessons are focused on. When I use the Oxford Picture Dictionary for the content areas, that is the sole focus of my instruction. However, I have aligned it to what they're studying in their regular education classroom. So if they're studying dinosaurs, I use the dinosaur unit from the dinosaur topic from the Oxford Picture Dictionary. So we align it, but I focus on the vocabulary instruction.
They definitely like the picture books. They like interacting with the smartboard. The games that they're offered through the Oxford CD components, spectacular. They like playing the spin-off game. I think it's called Countdown. They love the interaction, the Jeopardy game. The competition is, what I like about it is I have such a diverse classroom. I have 30 students in my classroom. We have reading levels on anywhere from 2.5 reading level to 11th grade reading level. So those kids can interact using the Oxford materials because it's visual, and then there's higher order thinking skills, I guess, in your assessments. For example, one of my students would choose a $100 question or 100 question in the Jeopardy, and the other one would choose a 400 question. So it's been such a wonderful combination for the kids to be able to interact with each other, and I just find the program remarkable.
With the content area dictionary, they clearly love the games. We have the smartboard in our room, and the iPad is a very good tool. And I use it at the beginning, and I use the dictionary spread page so they can hear the words. But then, toward the end, and as we're building on mastery of the words, we play the games and take the test and things, and they really enjoy the karaoke as well.
My students like the eye tools the most from the other components. They like the games. We use them as a reinforcement on like the third day that we use the materials.
The most enjoyable component would be like the software for the computers where they get to play the games, especially for the content areas. It's a good review, and also they're able to just keep on building the vocabulary.
When I talk with the students about what they like to do most in ESL. So if I say, what do you like to do, what do you enjoy the most in here? I think first they really like the picture dictionary for kids that we just got. They're super impressed with that because they love the colorful pictures. They're really, like, as soon as we got it, they're like, this is like the best day ever. And I was like, wow, kids want dictionaries. That's pretty happy. And then after that, they really like to be able to hear the words spoken on the computer and then be able to copy that. Even though I can do the same thing, it's different when it's coming out of a speaker, so they think that's cool. And in the Let's Go, they love the rhymes and the rhythmic activities. They really get into that. I will say there's not a piece of the curriculum that they complain about really, like, I don't want to do that. I don't get any of that except for the writing. But that's just because it's hard. ESL teachers have a different situation than the regular classroom teacher, as in that you need to make sure that you're collaborating with your regular education counterpart. So there's a systematic way of going about planning that instruction. And because I pull out for 90-minute blocks, their entire core is with me. So the whole building is on literacy blocks, and my students come to me for the entire period. Then they have science, social studies, and math in their general education classroom. To make sure that I'm bridging that gap between the academic language used in the general education setting and then what they're getting with me in the literacy block, every week I send out a information sheet. It's an ELL wants to know sheet, and it has the topics that they're covering in social studies, science, and math, any academic vocabulary that they think the kids might struggle with, as well as any particular, like it might say problem areas. And so then if they see some areas where maybe my kids are bridging the way that they should, or maybe they're struggling with a particular skill, maybe word problems are difficult, then the teacher can indicate that on the sheet. So every Friday I go through those sheets. If I have any questions, I go meet with the teachers, and then I organize my theme units to match what they'll be doing as closely as possible in their classroom. So if they're doing, for example, in science, they're talking about the biomes. That's why we chose animals and the topics 48, 49, 50 in the Oxford Content Picture Dictionary for Kids, is because the vocabulary that they're learning in the picture dictionary is going to dovetail nicely with what's going on in their classroom.
Since I've been using the materials with Oxford, it's just been spectacular. My students are so excited. They love the student workbook. They love interacting with the smart board, the assessments that are offered through the program, the colorful picture dictionary books. It's just been wonderful.
Since using the Oxford Picture Dictionary for the content areas, my students have been able to have more self-confidence when they are speaking. Since they are, I like that there's a gradual release of responsibility. And so there's a sentence frame, and they gradually get the ability to make complete sentences on their own and have their own independence.
I've noticed a lot of changes in my students since I've incorporated the Oxford Picture Dictionary materials. They are more expressive when talking with each other. They like to use the larger vocabulary words. When they go back into their regular ed classroom, they like to use the new words that they've learned.
When you think about implementation of a new curriculum, you want to look at when you've implemented, how long it's been in use, as well as what you used before, and then of course look at the data. So if I look at our situation right now, I haven't been in my current position for 2 years, so I have never taught ESL without Oxford content. However, I do know what the district was doing before that and the results in the data following. So before Oxford content, it was pretty piecemeal teacher-created materials mostly. And then after Oxford, we went from about like a 30-minute pull-out program here in our building to 90-minute literacy blocks. So that was a big change that happened after the implementation of the curriculum. And also following that, when we took our access scores increased immensely. And everyone, 100% of the students in our building made progress on their access scores. We didn't, and district-wide, there was not an implementation dip. I think 98% of the kids district-wide showed progress on access scores following the implementation of Oxford curriculum. I know that's true in my building. We didn't have any kids not show progress on access or ISAT.
Well, for my ELL students, I see them being more confident in the words that, the vocabulary that they are using, and just using the sentence frames also, it gives them that confidence to use the vocabulary in the science or social studies and using it in context. And for my monolingual students, it also gives them some practice as to, you know, the grammatic, how to form the sentence, and just be able to speak also with the other students.
They feel more confident speaking in classes, and they're able to use the vocabulary with their peers and with their teachers. So when they write papers or something like that, they're able to know the meaning and use the words.
Yes, I have seen improvement in their reading comprehension, especially when I use the reproducibles for the Read and Connect. The students know what they need to look for in the reading and in the passage, so they're looking for the details and the main ideas, and knowing that they have to go back to reread.
My students' writing skills have increased tremendously. They are better with their sentence structure, they're better with their vocabulary usage.
I have talked to the classroom teachers about my students' performance, and I have seen that, and they have told me that they have seen improved writing skills. Again, with the sentence frames that are given and the gradual release of responsibility, I think that really helps them improve with their writing skills.
I've incorporated the smartboard into my instruction using the iPack, and so I can project to the whole class and make sure that they're following and listening to the correct vocabulary that we're focusing on, and then also using the banner to help them practice the sentence frames. They can see, I can project it on the smartboard.
I've heard feedback from some of the teachers that are using the Oxford Picture Dictionary in their content areas in the regular general classroom, and the people that have used it love it. So I would just, hopefully that we can get more teachers in the regular classroom using it, and not just maybe pull out areas like myself.